Good day, everyone. I am Makeba Evans with Keller Williams Realty. Thank you so much for showing up for this free virtual home buyer seminar on Saturday, December the 19th, 2020. I thank you for being punctual. I had an internet monster come jump on my internet connection and just bumped us all over the universe, but we are back. Let me see here. I am Makeba Evans. I'm your Keller Williams real estate agent. I am basically the point of contact for you guys, whether you signed up through Eventbrite or you were gracious enough to click on our Facebook or Instagram ad. I was the one that was sending you out the emails. You might have received a phone call or text message from me. Wayne is also my preferred lender and partner in this endeavor to help you find and purchase and get pre-approved and all of those great things for your home. If you don't mind unmuting yourselves and share an introduction, maybe where you are in the home buying process, we would love to hear from you. We can have Shedrick, you're the first person that I see. If you guys wouldn't mind cutting on your cameras too, that would be nice to see what you look like.
No. Hey, I'm camera shy too.
Hey, how are you? Did I say your name right, Shedrick?
Yes, ma'am, you did. So my name is Shedrick. I am here in Atlanta. And my wife and I, we're really not in the process of starting to buy anything. We're just kind of gathering information, just to see what's out there, maybe get some that way we're able to that way we're able to make informed decisions. So kind of like an informational type thing, just to kind of see what you all have and what the process is.
Good. Well, perfect place to join, to prep and get ready for this life-changing decision that you and your wife are making. Yeah.
Because I always say you can never start too early to prepare for a home purchases. Of course, probably the biggest investment that you would make in your life is that home purchase. So you can never start preparing too early. So good job.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I didn't expect to be on camera, so I'm gonna be walking around the house doing things. So.
Good. I know Zoom is like become a part of all of our lives. So we're trying to make the best of the situation and still help people like yourself achieve their goals of home ownership. So again, thank you for showing up. Marissa, I see that you are live and direct. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Marissa Williams. I am similar to what Mr. Shedrick said, hoping to just get as much information as I can. I'm very early on in the process. I know I have to do some financial preparation before I can, be in a better position to start looking more seriously. But I am hoping my goal is that I'll be a homeowner by August of 2021. In part because that is when my lease ends. So I'd like to not have to renew it.
Okay.
Sounds like a great plan. Definitely. So that means we need to be actively looking in the midst of the summer months for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Well, how did you hear about us, Marissa?
So my mom suggested that I look into first time homebuyers classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, Google searched, and Eventbrite's website was one of the results that pulled up, and this was one of the events that was posted on there.
Good. Well, thank you. I love technology. Good. Okay, let's see who we have next. Jacqueline Weatherspoon, she was actually the first one to show up. If we had door prizes for people that were early and on time, and she definitely would receive one of those. Thank you, Jacqueline. Let me see if I can unmute you if you would like to share a little bit about where you are. Maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like she's buffering or something of some sort.
Mhm.
Well, Wayne, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Wayne Owens, and I am a loan officer, mortgage loan originator with Southeast Mortgage. And goodness, I think I've been licensed for maybe about 10 years now on the mortgage side of things. I've been in real estate pretty much all my life, from beginning as an investor, kind of buying homes and selling them, to working for the closing attorney side of things for several years, to eventually going to into mortgages and doing the financing part of things now. And I really am passionate about what I do. I enjoy, and I don't even want to call it work, but I enjoy the service that I provide for my clients, especially the clients that kind of look like me. And I want to make certain that the people, that I associate with and the people that I come in contact with, are very, very educated about the process, educated about, the things that are in the market for us to take advantage of in terms of, assistance or interest rate fees, any aspect to saving money, kind of get into a home. I certainly want to take advantage of it, give you my clients, those options, and make this process as easy as possible. Certainly, it can become very convoluted, and it's really about education and just kind of just being knowledgeable about the process. So I'm here, to share everything that I know, and help everybody become, first-time home buyers. Not first-time home buyers, but I guess that is the true statement, right? Everybody become home buyers, not necessarily first time, but obviously we deal with first-time home buyers and repeat clients as well. But probably 95% of my business is first-time home buyers. So I do take pride in helping the first-time home buyers get into homes too. Okay, so I'm just happy to be here with Makeba to educate and enlighten you on this process.
Yes, and again, I am Makeba Evans, Keller Williams real estate agent. And honestly, during these home buyer seminars, at this stage in the process, most questions are asked of Wayne. So I might be the Vanna Black of the presentation, where I'm gonna control the slides and but most of the questions go to Wayne, because you have to have the coins to purchase the house and make sure that your debt to income ratio is where it needs to be, and make sure that you have your savings and your credit and all of those great things. But I love being the host and facilitator of the home buyers seminars. We have gone virtual since COVID, of course, but like I stated earlier, our primary objective is to end your journey as a renter and begin your journey as a homeowner. Our honest goal is for this to be your investment property soon, or, this could be your primary residence and then you purchase another home to be your investment property. But we want to help be your guides in changing your lives in real estate. So again, I want to thank you so much for showing up, and we are going to officially begin the seminar. Wayne, can you see my slide?
Yes, I do believe I can. Hold on, let me just. Ooh, I had it, and I think I've lost it now, though.
Okay. Can you guys see my slide? It says
Oh, there it is.
process 10 steps to buying a home.
Okay,
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. But all of these things are necessary to purchase your home. So saving for your down payment. Most people are there in that space. You know, we need to put money down to purchase our home. In doing that, many of us, you know, the job that we have pays our bills, you know, food, clothing, shelter. So some of us, when it comes to saving for our down payment, might have to pull from some sort of investments that we have, or get another job, a side hustle, you know, work overtime until you are able to acquire those funds and resources and reserves that you need. Some people are going to have to stop spending so much. And I do feel like COVID has like cut down on a lot of the entertaining sort of things that we used to do. But you know, Amazon, they just be pulling up to my door and I'm just wait, hey girl, what you got? You know, so I see the trucks driving up and down. So, you know, there are many of us still spending because, you know, we want to stay safe inside. But if saving for a home is something that you are deciding to do, I definitely suggest buckling down or any of those things that I shared in regards to getting your money together for that down payment. And of course, knowing your score. Your score is a very essential element of what the lender, mortgage professional, underwriters, the people that have put the programs together to see who credit-worthy people are. You know, they don't see your great personality or how friendly you are, or you know, the wonderful energy that you share. When people are looking at your credit, they're just looking at the numbers. So we want to make sure that your numbers are telling the best story for you that they possibly can in this journey to home ownership and beyond. You know, of course, any tips that we have or share, hopefully you will continue to benefit from them and share with others around you as well. A resource that we like to use, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, to kind of look for they have simulators to kind of, you can play around with, if I pay this credit card down, or, you know, what if I do whatever these other things are. And they also give you suggestions when it comes to improving your credit. So not necessarily the score, because the score is different than what Wayne would use, but the simulator that they use is pretty accurate. Wayne, you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so when it comes to credit score, for sure, you know, credit score means a lot on the mortgage side of things. A lot of things are predicated on credit score. I mean, the interest rate for sure, the fees for sure, even your ability to purchase, or at least your buying power rather, can be dictated off of credit score, because the higher your credit score is, the more the process becomes a little bit more relaxed. You know, the debt to income ratios start to increase based on credit score. And, you know, things are just a lot easier as your credit score goes up. And what I would just kind of have people aiming for, just in terms of a credit score, and obviously the higher the better, but 640 is a
You muted.
640 is a magical number, so to speak. Once you hit that 640 threshold and above, things just start to get a lot easier with approval on the mortgage, and also, you know, buying power and debt to income ratio. That stuff starts to relax as well. So getting, you know, 640 or better. And certainly once you get into the 700 in terms of a credit score and above, you know, I mean, you're really in a good place when you have a 700 or better credit score. So that's kind of, and certainly we all need to know and monitor our scores, and just kind of know where we stand at all times, so to speak. And, you know, Makeba mentioned a couple of those credit reporting kind of apps, or credit monitoring apps, so to speak. And, you know, just having that available for you, so that if something changes on your credit report, you get a notification that something has changed, and you review that notification and you act on it. I mean, sometimes you don't have to act on just an inquiry that you know about. But if there is an inquiry that you don't know about, certainly act upon that to make certain you know who's looking at your credit report. And if something is popping up on your score that's derogatory and you get that notification, where you dig in immediately to kind of figure out what that is and get that resolved sooner than later, you know, because you can reverse the effects of something derogatory if you address it, you know, quickly. Okay. So using those credit monitoring services is a good thing as it relates to those notifications and you just, you know, keeping an eye on your credit report itself.
Mhm.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And so 3 and 4 won't necessarily happen in this order. Sometimes you will be pre-approved first. Other times you will meet a real estate agent that will connect you with a mortgage professional, like I am you with Wayne. But either one of those are very important to the process. So, you know, once you find a trusted and reliable real estate agent, you know, a real estate agent is someone who basically is your partner, just like the loan professional. We work as a team together to, one, I'm the one that would help assist you find the home that fits inside of whatever you decide that you want for a home, the area, the location, square footage, school districts, you know, whatever those things are that you've determined to be the foundation of where you want your home to be. I would help locate that. Wayne would assist us as we are making sure that your file looks the best that it can when we are presenting it in your offer. You know, also we stay in communication with each other and with you to make sure that the path and the plan that we have set forth is being fulfilled. You know, a comfortable mortgage payment is something that is very important. You know, several people get pre-approved, say for $350,000, but the comfortable mortgage payment for you might be at $225,000. So I will try to keep you on board and focused on those things as we're out looking, you know, and as you see other homes and what the possibilities could be, we still have conversations on your comfortable mortgage payment and, you know, getting you into the home that you have deemed the one that you want to be yours. And that's number 5, you know, finding the home. Once we find the home in this market, there are great interest rates. So that means there are many buyers trying to fulfill that American dream of, you know, having a house and whatever color picket fence you choose, whatever door that you decide you want the color to be. So we want to make sure, you know, that you are looking the best that you can when it comes to buying your home. And we're so glad that you showed up here to learn the home buying process. And so when we actually find the home, you know, we're going to have a discussion, put in an offer to see how much you want to say that you're going to purchase the home for. It's some contractual stuff involved. We have to put down earnest money. We have due diligence. And that is when we come to number 6, putting in an offer. So in putting in an offer, you know, we determine the earnest money depending on the price point of the home. You know, $1,000 is a rough guesstimation to plan for. Like I said, depending on your price point, it may be a little higher. That's all a part of the negotiation process with myself and the other real estate agent. They confer with their client who's selling the house. I speak to you, my client who's buying the house. There is a process called due diligence. And in that time, you can change your mind for any reason and get your earnest money back. And in that time, we are going to get the inspections done to make sure that this house is a sound investment for you. And so a home inspection, which is number 7, is something that is not mandatory, but we definitely would say that that is something that you need to have done because we have a third party individual come in and they look at the inside, the outside, the appliances to make sure that the bones of this home are something that you are going to want to spend your money on, your time in. And the next step is your appraisal. And so your appraisal is something that the bank does require. Wayne, do you want to touch bases on the home appraisal and the cost? The home inspection, depending on the square footage, will run about 300, 400. Like I said, it depends on the square footage. Your earnest money, which is we need to have shared with my brokerage, is who I like to hold my clients' money. So that's $1,000. And then the home inspection, we're saying, is going to be roughly $350 to $400. And then the home appraisal. Wayne, can you share a little bit about that?
Right. So generally, at the point that we're ready to do the appraisal is once the home inspection is done, and we know that we've got, you know, a solid home, and that you've negotiated with the seller just in terms of, you know, any type of repairs that may have come up in the home inspection, and that we're kind of, you know, full steam ahead in terms of you buying this home. So once the home inspection is complete, then we order the appraisal, and the appraisal is an evaluation of the value of the home. So we here at the mortgage company, we're going to be using your home as collateral for us to give you the money to buy the home. So we want to make certain that the collateral, you know, the collateral value rather, is sufficient for the amount of money that we're going to be loaning you to purchase the home. So we send a independent appraiser out, and they go through the home, and not as not with the fine tooth comb like the home inspector does, but the appraiser is looking for certain conditions for the property to meet, just in terms of, you know, whatever financing we're going through, whether it's FHA or VA conventional. You know, there's certain standards that they want the house to be in. So the appraiser is looking to make certain that the house meets those minimum standards, and then they come back. Well, basically what they do with the appraisal is that they start to compare other homes in the neighborhood and the surrounding communities. They compare those recent sales with our subject property, and then they come up with the value, come up with the price in terms of what the house is worth. And then, of course, we get that in a written form. And of course, that gets shared with you as a consumer as well. So the cost of the appraisal is $450. And we've actually gone here at Southeast Mortgage to kind of a flat appraisal cost. So it's actually the same $450 across the board if the home is valued at $550,000 or less. The appraisal fee is $450 across all platforms, and that is a cost that you are going to have to budget in terms of upfront expenses. You know, Makeba mentioned the earnest money, the home inspection fee, and then you also have to budget for the appraisal fee. Those are all fees that you're probably going to pay within the first 10 days of you being under contract. You're going to have to pay all of those fees, kind of all, you know, within that 10-day time frame. So you just have to be mindful that those expenses, those upfront expenses, are going to exist as you go through the home process. Okay, and that appraisal, you know, just an FYI in terms of how long it takes for us to complete an appraisal, is generally about 5 to 7 business days from the ordering of the appraisal through the appraiser getting out to the property, to them writing up the report and delivering the report back to us, about 5 to 7 business days. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. So the earnest money is an investment towards your home. The home appraisal is a financial investment towards the purchase of your home. So those funds go towards the amount of money that you need when you're buying your home. So that, you know, that funds, they don't disappear. The home inspection is something that is out of pocket. that does not go towards the purchase of your home. And we'll have Wayne touch a little bit more on what the down payment dollar amount would look like for a typical home in a few minutes. And so after the home inspection done and the home appraisal are done, you know, those are moments in the buying process that are very essential and important when buying your house, because that is the time when you're deciding, okay, is this the house for me, for my family, in the neighborhood? That is it a sound investment? And in that time period, if something happens and you decide, yeah, no, I changed my mind, let's withdraw this offer, we can still get your earnest money back. So we need to stay focused and in communication in regards to the dates and, you know, when important times are that we have to change our minds or move on to the next step. So communication is key in this endeavor entirely. And purchasing a home, I mean, honestly, once we begin the process of looking at home and after we've gone under contract, you know, depending on how soon you need to be out of where you are or how soon the seller of their home needs to be moved on to the next phase of their lives. I mean, you can be in your home, you know, 30 days. So I want you guys to definitely be excited about that. And then depending on when it is that you close, you'll have like 30 days or a little more before you actually make your first mortgage payment. So that definitely has a great feeling behind it when you're paying a mortgage versus somebody else's mortgage or rent to an apartment complex. And then after all of those things are done, you know, we've set the closing date at the beginning of the process when we put in the offer. And so you will close on your home, and step 10 is to move in. And, you know, that is definitely the keys will be handed out. I love social media, so you and I will take pictures. I'm going to post it. You know, we're going to do a little dance or something. We might get Wayne to show up. I don't know. He might go to his house out. But as long as they let me there, I'm coming. Definitely. I just enjoy the journey of assisting my clients in buying their homes. We love to receive the pictures after when you move in and to see the accent walls that you've painted and how you've decorated. And, you know, we want to stay a part of basically your extended family and, you know, be the people that you call on when you send referrals or you're moving on to the next phase of your life and buying another property. So we like to definitely stay connected there. Now, Wayne, I did touch base on down payment. Can you share what that percentage or number looks like for a home?
Yeah, sure. So it does depend on the mortgage product that we would be under, whether it's FHA, conventional, VA, USDA. So they all kind of have different ranges when it comes to minimum down payment. So if anyone in our audience today is a veteran, the VA loans require you to put down $0. So if you are a veteran, your down payment would be 0. And then we move on to conventional financing. You know, if we've got a borrower that's qualified to go conventional, then the down payment can be anywhere from 3% to 5%, just the minimum. Obviously, you can always put down more when it comes to down payment. So I'm really only speaking about the minimum, the minimum amount when it comes to down payment. So under the conventional product, if we were looking at, let's say we were looking to purchase a $200,000 house and you were eligible to do or participate in the 3% down payment program. So 3% of 200,000 would be $6,000 would be your down payment. So that would be kind of the basis of the funds that you would need. And to that, you know, because the down payment is not the end all when it comes to your total investment to buy the home, it's the down payment plus your portion of closing costs. And it's almost basically in terms of the closing cost, it's the closing cost that's not shared by the seller, because you do have an opportunity when you make an offer to request closing costs from the seller. and just kind of depending upon the market, in terms of how much we get the seller to participate in the closing costs is going to vary. So on a $200,000 house, and I almost hate to even mention these numbers, but they're just so real and prevalent today, especially in the market that we're in. We're in a seller's market right now. So if you were buying a $200,000 house, your down payment is $6,000. The closing costs on a $200,000 house is probably in the neighborhood of $7,000. So the more we can get the seller to pay of that $7,000, the less we can start adding to your $6,000 down payment. So if we got the seller to pay, say maybe $3,000 of the $7,000, then only $4,000 would roll over to your $6,000, totaling $10,000. And I hate to hit y'all with all these numbers so early on a Saturday. so if we got the seller to participate with $3,000, then of course your total investment be roughly about $10,000 to buy that $200,000 house. And you can kind of use that, that example through all of the mortgage products. So with an FHA loan, just to kind of round it out in terms of the minimum down payment requirements. So with FHA, their minimum down payment is 3.5%. So 3.5% of 200,000 would be $7,000 in terms of the down payment, and then the same principles apply as it relates to closing costs. Roughly those closing costs are about the same on the FHA loan, roughly about $7,000. So same concept. Whenever we negotiate with the seller, any cost that would go unpaid by the seller would just kind of roll over to the borrower. Okay. I know that's a mouthful for a
It
Saturday
is,
morning.
Wayne, but that's why they showed up, for us to give them the truth so they can definitely be prepared on this journey to home ownership and know exactly how much money that they need to save. Like I said, whether
Exactly. And let me add one more thing I should have mentioned as well. Especially since we started talking numbers, because I like to, talk about all aspects of the purchase. So, talking about numbers, we went over down payment, we went over closing costs. So payment, as well at the $200,000 mark, that's probably going to be, just kind of an FYI. Now the number that I'm going to give you will include the principal and interest, the property taxes, homeowners insurance, and I'm even counting mortgage insurance because we're talking about minimum down payment and mortgage insurance would be required. So those 4 components added together on a $200,000 purchase, a rough estimate for a payment will be right at $1,300 per month. $1,300 per month gets you into a $200,000 property with your down payment and closing costs. Okay, just so we can have some sort of scale for that.
good.
Okay.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. And so we are going to go ahead and open up the floor for questions. Marissa or Shedrick, do you have any questions for Wayne or I?
I actually do have a question. So is there a general rule of thumb as far as the cost of the house versus your yearly salary or what you're yearly bringing in? For example, if my household brings in about $100,000 a year, what should we expect our maximum house value should be when we're looking for a property?
Okay.
And let's just say for this example purposes, our credit score is about a 700.
700. Okay, very good, very good. All right, so when it comes to how much you qualify for, what's your maximum buying power, what your maximum pre-approval amount is, it's a mathematical equation, and it's it's a balance of your income, your monthly gross income versus your debts. So and that's what we call the debt to income ratio. So I would have to know how much money is coming in, because once I know the maximum amount, and we talked about the $100,000, which is maybe roughly about $8,000 a month. I'm correct, about 8,000 a month. So basically, the debt to income ratio says that your $8,000 per month has to be enough to cover. I'm sorry, 50% of that $8,000 has to be enough to cover your mortgage payment and all of your other existing debts that I would see on your credit report. So that's a 50% debt to income ratio. So we would never be able to exceed 50% in terms of your debt to income ratios. So 50% of your $8,000 per month would have to hold the projected new mortgage payment plus all of your existing debts. And I would have to know what your existing debts would be to start subtracting from the $4,000 per month to know what would be left over for the mortgage payment. Because if your DTI or your 50% mark is the 4,000, and say maybe you had $2,000 a month in terms of car notes, credit card debt, student loan debt, J.C. Penney's, Macy's, if those all added up to about $2,000 per month that you're paying out, then that means $2,000 will be left for you to have in terms of going towards the mortgage payment. And a $2,000 per month mortgage payment is probably in the range of a $300,000 purchase. So just doing that little made up math that I just did, $2,000 worth of debt, $100,000 worth of income, you would be, roughly about $300,000 would be your buying power. Yeah, that's just kind of some rough math. So it's really 50% of your monthly gross income would have to hold all of your existing debt, monthly payments, plus the mortgage payment. That's how we make the determination of what you're qualified for.
Cool. So then, based off that example, when I used $100,000, and you said it's about $8,000 a month, which is about correct. It's about 96,000. So it's about $8,000 a month, and we had about $2,000 a month in debt. So that'll be $6,000. Would that be $6,000 technically towards or you're cutting at 8.5? Because is there a reason why you would cut the 8.5?
Right. We got to cut the 8.5 because the maximum is, in terms of your debt to income ratios, 50%. The max is 50%. So we can't go over, because you got so much other stuff you got to do with your money outside of the mortgage payment.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
So you got to have extra utilities. You might even have, I can't even think of what else I spend my money on.
Agreed. Okay.
But yeah, so we only use 50% of the gross monthly income because we know that there's other expenses outside of the mortgage and your existing bills. So right, we use the maximum is 50%. Maximum.
Perfect.
50. Okay.
And as far as the credit score, that, like you said before, that just goes towards interest and things of that nature. It doesn't necessarily impact the amount of the house that you get.
Not the amount necessarily. I mean, I guess it could affect the amount, because with the lower credit score, that debt to income ratio could go from 50 to 41%. So if you had more like a 640 credit score, now I'm limiting how much that DTI can be. So, it could reduce down to 41% as opposed to as high as 50% with that good 700 score.
Cool.
So
Okay.
that does make a difference in buying power, because we could increase your debt to income ratio percentage with a stronger credit score. And of course, that automatically means that you've got more room for buying power for that mortgage payment.
Perfect. And just to kind of reiterate, when you're talking about debt, you're talking about like no utilities, no insurances, nothing of that nature. You're mainly talking about student loan, mortgage debt, things like actual car notes, things of that nature. Correct?
That is correct. That's correct. Car loans, student loans, and it is generally more, about debt that you're obligated to pay over a certain amount of time, like an installment loan. So everything that, and in general, is everything that I'm going to see on the credit report, because that's kind of what they report for us. So I'm going to see the car loan on the credit report. I'm going to see the student loans on the credit report. I'm going to see your credit cards on the credit report. I'm going to see, the J.C. Penney's, Macy's. I'm going to always see those on the credit report. And then I'm using only the minimum monthly payment for those in terms of factoring that into your debt to income ratios.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All righty, no problem.
Well, Shedrick, it appears that you are the last man standing. If you don't have any more questions, then this homebuyer seminar would be complete. Did you have any last minute questions?
Actually, no, I don't. I think you all hit it pretty good. I think, we were discussing the one thing that we wanted to discuss is make sure that we had enough for a down payment. I think that was these minimum amounts are a lot less than what I thought for some reason. I'm thinking we had to have like 10% or something. So that's we were actually saving to have about 10% of a house for a house. So 3 to 5% is a lot better for my pocket.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that'll be, even though we, like you said, the more the better. So we've been on a savings spree for some time, as well as the conversation regarding the salary and the monthly payment. I think that's great as well. Just the information that we need in order to move forward. So yeah, most definitely, you all have been fantastic. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I am just want to share, reserves look very nice sitting in the bank and not having to be used. So I don't want you to think you can save too much, because even if you don't use it, the lenders like to see that you have reserves for a rainy day or, an emergency fund. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And Shedrick, putting down more money, can start to save you a bit on the monthly mortgage payment too, because once you start getting into the 10 to 12% range when it comes to a down payment, then on that conventional product, we get into an area where we could actually eliminate that from your mortgage insurance. From the monthly payment, the mortgage insurance. So saving more and also using it more towards your down payment can also help lower that monthly mortgage insurance. So that figure that I gave a little bit earlier on the $200,000 example, probably $135 of that was mortgage insurance that I factored into the overall payment. So once you start to put, in that 10 to 12% range, you start putting that amount of money down, we can start eliminating $135 out of that $1,300 figure as well. So just kind of an FYI that absolutely putting more down can start to save you as well in terms of your monthly payment.
Perfect. Okay, so that's definitely food for thought, and I'll make sure that I communicate that to her as well. All right. Well, yeah, that's been. You know what? I have just one more question. This is kind of a myth buster. If you all can help me out with this, because because I heard this, or my wife's heard this, and she just kind of want me just to break it up. She heard through the grapevine somewhere that there was some kind of law or rule of thumb that if you were looking to buy a home, that you can break your lease of an apartment. Now, I told her that's probably apartment basis based off of your actual leasing agreement. But I just wanted to kind of know if you all had any kind of information on that, if that's true or false or anything of that nature.
All right. Did you want to answer that, Makeba?
Yeah, it all depends on, your circumstances. Generally, basically, they'll ask for you to surrender whatever your deposit was, and we've seen them ask for you to pay 1 month's rent.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I think it's absolutely that it's on a lease by lease basis, and certainly if you see it in your lease that there's kind of an escape clause, or it may not even be labeled an escape clause, but certainly there could be some language in the lease itself that speaks to when you can break the lease and what the terms are for you to break the lease. And I do feel like some of the complexes that maybe, I don't want to say a lot, but I've heard a lot of clients say that baked into their lease agreement was the ability, especially when they're going to purchase a home, that the complex or the leasing office allowed them to, you know, get out of the lease without having to pay those high, you know, penalties for, you know, coming out the lease. But certainly that would be something that you would want to, you know, first start with your lease agreement, and then have the conversation with the property manager or the leasing office about, you know, what happens, you know, if we're leaving, you know, your complex and going to buy a house, you know, you know, is there any flexibility or wiggle room in terms of breaking the lease without penalty? And then they'll give you the answers, of course.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that from you all. Thank you. But besides that, I think you all have been fantastic. Like I said, fantastic, and you answered a lot of my questions. So I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you showing up. We put our contact information in the chat, but you will also you have received an email with the information on it as well. So definitely keep us abreast. I would suggest that you contact Wayne so you can plug in everything necessary so he can give you specific guidance in what it is that you should be doing to prepare for your journey of home ownership. Okay, Shedrick?
Will do. Thank you. Thank you again.
Yes, enjoy your holiday.
Okay.
You too as well.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
You too. Bye bye.
All right, go to 15.